Welcome to Branding Room Only, the podcast where your personal brand gets a front row seat. I'm Paula Edgar, and if you're here, it's because you know your brand isn't just about what you do. It's about how people experience you. In each episode, you'll hear stories, strategies, and lessons from leaders and influencers who built their brands and made their mark. And I'll share the tools you need to do the same. Let's go. Hi, everybody. It's Paula Edgar, your host of Branding Room Only, and we're back today with another wonderful conversation. Let me tell you about my guest. Today's guest is Lee Forrester. She's a life and leadership coach, purpose-driven entrepreneur, and author. She's the founder of Quartz Wellness Collective, a modern well-being and leadership development company at the intersection of personal transformation and organizational excellence. The Quartz Wellness Collective brings together positive psychology, restorative practices, social emotional learning, neuroscience, and strengths-based coaching to help people find their flow and flourish individually, collectively, and systemically. Amber, welcome to the Branding Room.
Paula, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, y'all, I had a chance to see Amber speak. You all know I talk about my experience as a CUP fellow a lot, and she had an opportunity to speak to all of us at our alumni gathering, and I was like, you have to be on my podcast, and she graciously said yes. So let's jump into the conversation. Amber, when you think about personal branding, what does it mean to you? How would you define it?
It is the way that we are telling the world who we are and what we stand for, whether we're an individual, a company, an organization. It's like how we say who we are.
Yeah, I love it. How would you say you are in 3 words or short phrases? How would you define yourself?
I would say that I am positive. I would say that I am community-based, and I would say that I am a reflection of excellence. I strive for excellence, and I'd love for that to be a part of my brand and everything I do. I'm very intentional about paying attention to the detail that makes the excellence come through. So
I'm here for that. Tell me, do you have a favorite quote or motto that comes for you today, like something that's in your mind today?
Yeah. So, and this is probably going to lead into some of what we talk about and discuss, my angle on branding and how I look at things just from a holistic perspective. So Friedrich Nietzsche is a philosopher who has a quote that I often use and that I really, truly believe in. Okay. And it's, he who has a why to live can get through any how.
Oh, I love that. Purpose-driven.
So purpose-driven.
I love that.
And so whether we are that person trying to make it through a very challenging time, whether we're that professional that has our eye on the prize and we know what that is, that why, that knowing what we're doing and why, it just makes that how so much more bearable, and there's so much more motivation. So that I do, whether it's with a troubled youth or an executive team, that's what I lean on.
That is, that resonates very deeply. I love that. So tell me about this. When they're going to get full Amber Lee Forrester coming in the room, what song is playing in the back of your head? What's your hype song?
Oh my God, it's Beyoncé, definitely. And it depends on my mood that day. It's usually from the Lion King soundtrack. And it's like Mood Forever is my thing. So again, this is the holistic perspective. I make sure that I have settled my nervous system, that I have done my routine in the morning, that when I come in, a part of my brand is coming in with a positive energy. Because there's a woman, I do professional development and training. There's a woman, you probably have heard of her, Alina Aguilar. And says, make your PDs a party. And so it's like professional development, a party. And there's something to people knowing that, okay, we got to do this training or workshop, but we know Amber's going to bring some music. We know that she's going to bring some engagement, and we're not just going to sit there and stare at her with our eyes crossed.
I love that. And this is a very Beyoncé friendly podcast, so we're here for it. Tell me, Amber, where did you grow up and how do you think that shaped you?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. I am from the D, that's Detroit. And I think, I know that it shaped me and my curiosity and comfort in different situations. I grew up in the city of Detroit as a young child. And then in high school, I got a scholarship to go to an amazing school. And my mom was able to move us out to the suburbs. And so life changed a lot in high school. I'm at this private school in the suburbs in Beverly Hills, Michigan. Yes, y'all, Beverly Hills. Michigan has a Beverly Hills.
Oh, no.
So it's like you have the hood and then you have Beverly Hills, Michigan, and they're like 15 minutes from each other. And I'm going between them. And it still speaks to just me and my ability. Like I said, I mean, I do work from a corporate, from working with executives to work with juvenile justice with incarcerated youth. And I'm comfortable in those environments. And I can come into those spaces. And I think that that's what really helps me to connect with people, to do the work that I love doing with them. So, yeah.
I love that. So tell me about your career path post private school. What did you do? How did you get to be in front of us right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I said, I got to go to New York because I'm this little girl in Detroit. I have never been to New York before. I just see it in the movies and I see the entertainment industry is happening. This is me in the late 90s in high school. So I am like, wow, look at how Black people are shining in New York. And this whole thing is building. And I want to be in entertainment marketing. That's what I identify for myself as a use of my skills and my interest. And so I go to Fordham University and I go for 4 years. I'm never going back home. I'm in New York. Love it here. So I get into marketing. So my career started in marketing. I actually won a VJ contest during when VJs were a thing.
Okay.
And I got to do a concert tour and it was I understood as a marketing student that this was actually a marketing strategy that I'm a part of. And so I was very intentional about the interviews that I did and the way that I engaged with local celebrities and spoke up the brand. I got branding early on. And so this same company that hired me to be the VJ concert tour actually gave me my first job and was the reason I started my first business right after college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I started working in entertainment marketing, managing budgets in the entertainment industry and with entertainment industry focused like clients. And then I did that for a few years. I moved to Miami. Started a dog apparel company. We could have some interesting branding conversations.
A dog apparel company.
A dog apparel and accessory company called Cane and Couture. I got on Shark Tank. I got on Shark Tank and got investment from Damon and Lori, which behind the scenes, like a number of businesses, they have to go through due diligence. So you don't always get the money. But on TV, I won Shark Tank. That's what people talk about. They're like, you won Shark Tank.
We got to find that clip. We need this clip. We need this clip in the show notes. Okay, go ahead.
So that was what got me into, that actually was what parlayed me into the space that I'm in now in personal and professional development, because my own personal and professional development is a very intentional process. And after Shark Tank, I had business owners who were coming to me for mentorship and coaching. And then I had schools that kept asking me to come and speak with their students. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought I started to enjoy that more than my dog apparel and accessory company. And my purpose was evolving because I was evolving. And so I started Quartz Wellness Collective. I went back to school. I got a number of certifications in positive psychology, social emotional learning. And then I went to get my master's in restorative practices. I got certified in coaching and I took all of that and turned it into this positive lifestyle company called Quartz Wellness Collective.
Wow.
I made a long story short enough. Sorry. That was a bit.
No. Listen. First of all, I'm rewinding because let's talk about the VJ time. Anybody who sticks out in terms of people who you interview? Was anything like, I don't know, tell me a story from your VJ days.
Oh, yeah. There would be there was one I said, my friends always laugh at me because they're older than I am. So when I said this, they were like, how were you so clueless? But I said, we were in Philadelphia, I believe. And I said, this guy comes up on it was Seagram's Gin Live that I was working with. And it was the gold carpet, purple carpet. I can't remember. It wasn't.
Okay. Some color carpet.
Some color carpet. And he's so cute. And I'm like, we got somebody real special here with us tonight. What's your name? And he's like, Special Ed. And I was like, oh, wait, that's special. That really is Special Ed. And, me, little girl from Detroit, I'm not like, meeting celebrities. So many of like people who my aunt used to listen to, who are now just like showing up in this different city and I'm getting to interview them. It felt real special for me because I was like my first time interviewing celebrities. So.
And especially Everybody, shout out to my 90s people, and also for Brooklyn. Shout out to Special Ed. I probably think it was like one of the first raps I knew the whole rap all the way through was I Got It Made. But anyway, I date myself, and it's fine because I'm so cute. So anyway, okay, so that was a really interesting. I asked this question because I realized it's so much in the where people are from and the what they have done that when they tell it, it is very different than a flat on the page bio, right? It's the how they light up when they tell the things, when they show the things, and it's where people can see our paths are so varied. They are never this linear thing that we think they're going to be. And so I'm very glad that you answered that question robustly and we got to hear that you were on Shark Tank and VJing outside. Okay. All right. So
thank you for giving me the opportunity to recount that even in my own head. It is a moment of appreciation to sit and think about the journey. So I appreciate the question.
It really is when you think about from whence you have come and where you are and where you will be. It's wonderful to take stock of that. And so I'm glad we had the opportunity to do that together. Yeah. So speaking of doing together, I myself also do a lot of professional development, mostly for lawyers. And so when I see people speak, I have a very high standard for what I expect from them. Mm. And so not a lot of people always reach it. You did, which is why I was like, oh, she needs to be on my podcast because I was actually listening. So that's a good thing. Good. You talked about when you spoke to our CUP class, the CUP classes, you spoke to us about imposter syndrome, and it's something that people talk about a lot. And there's all this, it's kind of, I always call it like the Bloods and the Crips, and people are fighting like, it's this, it's that. Some people are saying it's the individual. Some people are saying it's the organization or the circumstance, or some people are saying it's both. And I really loved the way that you sort of defined what it is because it felt more accessible than I've heard it before. And so I want you to share, how do you define imposter syndrome and how has it shown up for you, if at all, and the people who you've worked with? How had it become an area where you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to say it exactly how I said it when we were together.
It's all good.
But I define imposter syndrome as that little voice that gets into the back of our head and tries to talk us out of our greatness. That little voice that tries to drag us back into the past or project us too far into the future where we can't really just be present and grounded in the moment of where we are and appreciative of that. It's that silent voice that we've all heard in a different way. It might be like psychology will tell you that it might be your parents' voice because a voice in our as a parent, it was probably one of the most heavy things to carry, knowing that my voice is going to turn into the voice of my children. Because that's what happens to us, right? Yeah, and so if that voice, if you have something that's unprocessed from childhood, that little inner voice is that inner child, or it's that parent that was very domineering, or it could be that parent that was very supportive, depending on the health of your inner voice. Yeah. But when it's imposter syndrome, it's usually trying to take us on a downward spiral of believing a bunch of stories that we've made up that are not serving us well. We all experience that in one way or another at some point, if we're honest with ourselves. So normalizing it, knowing what it sounds like and learning how to talk back to it is a part of what I try to shine the light on and give tools for, as opposed to acting like it doesn't happen, sweeping it under the rug. Because the branding, let's bring it back to, in order for us to be authentic and to be, we need to recognize how these things happen and how they could get in our way so that we don't let them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I dealt with imposter syndrome. I teach on it and I still do. I think I gave you guys an example that day. I came into CUP is amazing. For anyone who's watching, the Council of Urban Professionals, you probably heard Paula say it 5,000 times. Just as incredible as she says it is. And so I come into this group of amazing professionals and realize everyone knows each other. Oh, wait, when Paula speaks before I speak, and going after Paula is no easy thing. So I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't know these people. I'm starting from ground one. My technology is messed up and and I've got to go without my slides. And this is my time to shine in front of these amazing people who I respect. And so that voice in my head for a moment could have talked me into getting nervous, focusing on the problems. But I was like, no, 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 no. Hello, honey, you are a strength-based coach. So get it together, lean on the strengths, and let's move forward and rock this out. And so, I think like that's just an example of here I am having imposter syndrome as I'm going to do talk on imposter syndrome, but I talk myself out of it, and so can everyone.
And that's, I think, what really resonated was the authenticity of you navigating the challenge. As someone who's a speaker, and we have a lot of speakers and entrepreneurs listen to the podcast. We all know that Rihanna's going to be in micro braids, and whatever the thing is, something's going to happen where Mercury is going to do crazy stuff, and you have to be prepared. And sometimes we're using the slides as something to lean on. But truthfully, when it's an area of expertise, we know it, but we just want to be able to have the experience for the folks be one that is, visual and also auditory, et cetera. So they're learning better, but you're not freaking out. You're being measured was very much what resonated for the folks in the space, right? Because too many times people are like, I am the person and and nothing ever happens wrong. And it's like, no.
Well, you know what? But like Paula, even like that, I'm the flow coach. That's a part of my brand online, right? Yeah. How am I going to get there and not? I have to go with the flow, and it's a part of what I teach, but it's a part of what I embody. And it was happening real life, and it's like, okay, you say you flow, so flow. While
talk about it, be about it. Well, you did. You flowed. It all worked. It worked well. So tell me about this. When you work at, think about the leaders, even the students, educators, entrepreneurs who you have supported, do you see any patterns when it comes to how imposter syndrome affects how they show up and how they either show or hide parts of what their authentic personal brand is?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, well, so one, like I always say, I look for patterns and not problems. So I'm often looking, that's just kind of my approach, is to look for a pattern in a situation. And when we are motivated by the same things that we're threatened by. And so, right?
Say more.
David Rock has this whole really awesome paper about it. And he talks about the SCARF model, which is SCARF stands for status, certainty, authenticity, relatedness, and fairness. And so when imposter syndrome shows up, it can, some of the same things that, some of the same things that motivate us can threaten us. And so it's like the other side of that thing, which often is like authenticity. Like, so if I'm feeling in my power, in my highest self, at my best, on a good day, then I'm authentic, I'm aligned, I'm being who I am, I'm showing up without the mask on. But if something shows up and throws me out of my authenticity, or if a thought shows up, or somehow I start getting in my way, I'm not feeling as authentic, and now it's a threat. So, and when people are threatened, they tend to attack themselves, attack others, withdraw, or they just completely avoid it. And so knowing that, like this is a part of what I study in restorative practices. So knowing that, I'm seeing when it's showing up and I'm going, okay, so let me help them open up to be more authentic, or let me help them explore whatever is coming up for them, as opposed to just shying away and getting uncomfortable about it because they're having imposter syndrome. It's like, it's okay. Like, hold on, it's almost like a dance sometimes, if you're like, if you get on a dance floor and you're dancing, and if you messed up and your dance partner realized that you messed up, and then the whole thing is off. But if your dance partner keeps going, then you
will too.
Sometimes we just need people to keep going. Like, it's okay, you messed up. Okay, now keep going. And so when I'm working with someone, I like to point it out and then look at ways to either correct it in the moment or reflect on it later and correct it, but not look at it as like a bad thing. It's just a thing that happened, and now we notice it, so we know how to navigate it.
Right. It's like curiosity instead of judgment, right? It's like it's engagement. And that's a helpful thing, particularly because, from whatever level or whatever context that you're working with folks in, I think specifically about leaders and leaders who don't want to seem shakeable. They want to seem like they got everything together. And I think true, real leadership that resonates for people are when folks are authentic and vulnerable and are able to say, you know what, today ain't it, or I messed up and this is how we're going to go forward. Folks will connect more with that than not. And I read something years ago that said something like 70% of people who have been, in leadership who were surveyed said that they had imposter syndrome. And I thought of it as something, for underrepresented folks. That's when I had a big shift where I was like, what do you mean? All the leaders said that they had imposter syndrome. But it's true when you think about your initial definition. It's what that little voice is, what that thing is that can kind of take you out, or or help you up. And now I gotta go apologize to my kids. But anyway, there's that. I'll pay for therapy. It's all good.
All therapeutic.
That part. So tell me, what does positive psychology and that work we did in that space, how does that science of like well-being help people to challenge those narratives when they, that can undermine confidence and their brand and how they show up? How does that work?
I think the most fascinating thing is that it normalizes things that we tend to be ashamed of. And when things can be normalized and recognized that this is a challenge that people face in these different ways, there's a science to it, that knowing that science, people go, okay, so I'm not crazy, or it's not. And then it becomes more manageable when you're able. So like I'll read, this is when I'm geeking out, I'm reading a research paper that is talking about something like imposter syndrome. And then it says that like, these are the 5 ways that whether it be coaches, whoever is working with people, is helping them to overcome it. And now I know this, and I can say like, how do I apply this and work with this person, whether it's imposter syndrome, whatever is the psychology. So much of what we do is the psychology. Like you have these companies and they want to make a lot of money. So you want to be innovative. But if you have a safe space psychologically for the people who work within your company, it's not going to be a safe space. So if your leader can't say, I made a mistake, then other people can't say, I made a mistake. Then people start sweeping things under the rug, and it becomes an issue that gets in the way of productivity or worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, talking about the psychology of it, to me, I think it disarms people in a way and makes it like brass tacks. Like, so what are we doing now that we know this?
Right.
That's the D in me. The Detroit in me is like, bottom line, what are we doing now? Now that we know this, what are we doing? Okay, let's party. Let's put the music on. Let's call it a professional development and tackle it.
And figure it out.
My clients and the work that I do. Because it's like, guys, it's okay. This happens everywhere. Whether it's, everywhere in the company or everywhere in the world, like we're people are people. And these are issues that people deal with when they work together.
So that's why I often say, everyone's talking now about how AI is taking over. I was like, AI is going to be additive, but it can never take over because it cannot replace our interaction as people, right? It can model a lot of things, it can make things faster, but it cannot. And in fact, when people are relying too much on it, you can see because it doesn't have the people part of it. Like you can see the output because it doesn't include that magic that is who we all are.
It doesn't have a soul.
Exactly.
But people like you and I are mean with some AI when we use it as a tool, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's a tool, not a crutch, and it is not a replacement, right? Yeah. All of those things. Mark that down. Anyway, So, okay, I really wanted you to share this. So talk about your framework of how to move people from self-doubt to self-belief. What are some of the shifts that you see when people start to align those stories? And, you didn't say this, but this is how I kind of perceive it. It's like when there's a lie happening and you got to refute it, right? Because usually the thing you're telling yourself is not a truth, or it's a past truth, so not your current situation. So tell me what kind of framework do you use when you're trying to help people go from, I don't like it, I don't like myself, I don't like this thing, to here I am. Tell me the magic of Amber.
So it's really getting aware of how we're talking to ourselves. It's learning when to catch those thoughts, when those thoughts come up and what those thoughts are that come up.
Yeah.
And really in a moment of reflection, when you're not in that, what I'll try to do is get people to reflect on situations when they're not in the emotional intensity of it. So when you're in a sane space, reflecting back on your patterns, like we said, I look for patterns, not problems, reflecting back on your patterns and looking at thought patterns, looking at things that are triggering you and recognizing what happens, what's the routine that you go into when that happens. So if you can identify it, then you can curveball it. Like, wait a minute, when that happens, I'm not going to do that thing. So cognitive behavioral therapy tells you ABC. It's an adversity that happens. There's a belief that comes up and there's a consequence.
Yes.
So really, that's the framework behind it, but I'm saying it or I'm pointing it out in a different way of working with someone of like, the adversity is the trigger. Then what's the belief? What are you thinking when that comes up? And if I can get them to be, when I get them to be open and honest enough with themselves about what that belief really is, where the magic is, because that's where the rewiring, the whole neuroscience of it is because our reality is only our reality because we told ourselves it's real. So you're telling yourself a story that's not serving you.
Yeah.
How can we rewrite that story in a way that serves you better? So when you respond and you go into this routine and you get something that you don't really want, what do you want? I want it to be like this. So, because if you're imposter syndrome, you're not getting what you want from imposter syndrome. It's either taking a toll on your relationships because you're showing up in a way of insecurity, or you're passive aggressive, or it's taking a toll on your career. It can really talk ourselves out of our greatness. So when we recognize when that's happening and what brings that up and what thoughts we have, and then we redirect them toward what we want to be manifesting in our lives, we start to see it. Yes. And then we start to get a reward. And then we get dopamine rush. Now we're like, oh, and then that's when we come into our confidence like that. We got to be willing to try something a little different. Like I'll tell my clients, just try it on. Let me come up with this. They'll be like, oh my God, that sounds funny to say in my head. But does it sound great to say the mean things that you've been saying to yourself?
Right.
That's not funny. That's just normal. But it's not. It's not helping you. Like, so we try on something new and we try to rewire that, because our brains, we have neuroplasticity. Our brains can be rewired, but we have to be aware of the patterns that we go into and brave enough to try something different.
Yes, everybody, welcome to my therapy. So anyway, I'm wondering if my therapist listens to the podcast.
Branding.
I mean, everyone gets the benefit of the fact that I have a weekly therapist who makes sure that the world does not get the wrath of what it could be. And one of the things that I incorporated when I started to do therapy weekly was positive talk, right? And so listen, my nickname is Pollyanna. I have joy, but I realize I can go into that spiral, and I'm sure people are going to listen and be like, you? I'm like, yeah, you. And so it'll be like, hey, remember who you are. Remember how you show up. I tell my kids of it all the time. Remember who you're in Edgar. When they walk out the door, remember who you are and once you came, because it is, we have been through a lot. We've done through a lot, and you're great already by yourself. No matter what happens today, you're great. And I remind myself of the same thing, because while I don't get nervous when I speak all the time, I don't get nervous. I do have like the excitement that makes me feel like, oh, okay, I'm excited. And those can feel similar, right? People are like, are you nervous? I'm like, no.
Like the other side of that motivation or threat. That's kind of what I was trying to say. It is.
Yeah.
Beyonce gets nervous when she goes on stage.
Beyonce is Sasha Fierce. I need to come up with my other name. Like I need to be like, I don't know, Patricia Jenkins. I'm gonna just throw up.
Name her. Did she just get named here?
I don't know. I feel like it's got to have a law in front of it.
You said a lot.
Yes, like La Paula. It's got to be something else. Like I got to switch it up.
I like La Paula. I don't know, listeners, listen in and tell her if y'all like La Paula.
Yes, I would like to know. It might have to be a thing where I'm like, here she is. La Paula de la Branding. That's my name.
I like her.
Entire mess, but that's going to be the name. It's going to be in everything. Okay, so I love that. I love talking about that shift because it's such an important one. I can tell that it would be transformative when people actually kind of get that. Wow. Tell me though, is there any kind of misconceptions that people navigate around imposter syndrome that you might want people to understand a little bit better? Like, is there anything that you think that is a bad brand on imposter syndrome?
I would say to think that it's something that just goes away completely. I think that, there are things that, there's like, we like to check things off our box, especially as like professionals and entrepreneurs. We're like, check done. But there are these things that just naturally happen to us as humans that we can't just check them off and be like, I'm done with that. So one of the things that I was going to say earlier, and I went in a different direction, was just about the importance of reflection. Reflection is critical, especially for high-functioning, high-powered individuals, because without reflection, without taking the time to sit still and look back at what we're doing, what we're thinking, how we're showing up, and how it's impacting our environment, we can't reach our full potential. So whether that be imposter syndrome, whether that be the positive self-talk, there are times when, the most common thing people ask is what? How are you doing?
Yeah. Yes.
How are you doing? And even how you answer how you're doing can be a part of your brand, right? How are you doing is such an automatic answer that we give. And some people don't realize that they're putting out a negative brand for themselves by answering in that same way. If you know, there are people who answer how you're doing and it's, oh, well, and it's like, you know, that's right. And so I had a friend, shout out to my girlfriend, Vicky. I love her so much. She, you say, how are you doing? And she says, well, hold on. What is it? I'm great and grateful. That's what it is. She says, I'm great and grateful. And no matter what she was going through, she would say, I'm great and grateful. And then she'll open up and she'll start talking about what she's grateful for. And even so people who, you know her as being a bright, shining light, even when something like her close family member passing away, her answer, I'm great and grateful, became a part of what people expected from her and a part of how they engage with her. And so, you know, that is something that I think she reflected on and realized was part of her magic and made it a part of her maybe brand unconsciously. But yeah, that reflection is just going to be key in knowing whatever that is, whether it's working for you or not.
I love that. And it resonates because, especially in recent times, that automatic, I'm fine, when people say, how are you doing? It does not serve anyone because we need to relate to each other better, right? And so I had started to pause, actually tap in and think, how am I?
Yeah.
And then respond. And my, what I have co-opted, someone had said to me, and I was like, I'm taking that, is I'm fine, but I'm not okay. Right? Where it is that I am physically fine. I don't feel like but the world is doing what the world is doing right now. So that can't be, I can't be okay in that. And that resonates because people are like, no matter where they are, that connects with them. And I also will say I'm blessed and highly favored, which is always true. Yeah. Right. And so
that's
yeah,
my grandmother used to always say, I'm blessed and highly favored, no matter what. It's what is true. Yeah. Yes. I appreciate that. I'm fine, but I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think that even, that's authentic, that's real. And yet it owns where you are, but then it gives people hope that if she can be not okay, but fine, and show up like this is what that looks like. And that's beautiful. You can do that authentically from a place of power, but a place of softness.
Yeah, it's a place, it's me wanting to influence by showing, right? By saying like, hey, if you might think that everything that I show and show up in red lipstick and glasses and that's just how, and that's usually the case. But the point is that doesn't mean that everything is fine, right? That there's other things that we all are struggling with something. And particularly now, many of us struggle with many things and we need to connect with that. Again, tapping back to our humanity, which makes me reflect on something that you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, which is your commitment to community. Where does that, that's from you being from the D, but is there something else why community is such an important part of who you are and what you are connected to?
Yeah, because safe spaces matter and people do their best in them. And so I have a high priority around creating safe spaces, which my therapist would say that I also can have control issues because let's be honest with ourselves. So it's like when I curate a space, I know that I'm going to make that space safe because I want the community to happen. I want the openness. I want the vulnerability. I don't like small talk. I like deep engagement. Those things happen. I love when it happens on a date or in the boardroom. Like this makes me feel like it's worth me being there. When there's like deep engagement happening. And so that community is what happens when there's more than one of us willing to deeply engage. A community could be two of us or 2,000 of us. And there's a science to, like a part of the work that I do with restorative practices is around organizational transformation and culture, because there's science to creating a safe space, a psychologically safe space, a community where people can be innovative, can make mistakes and learn from them, can empower each other, can be motivated to reach a goal beyond me just beating the head with it. You know, there's like people will show up when people are depending on them or expecting from them or vibing with them. And that's community. And I like that. Like for me, I probably quit and didn't really work in corporate too long because I was like, I need to come on the other side of this and because I can't exist I can't be productive in a toxic space.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. We have had many, many conversations on this podcast about toxic spaces, toxic places, toxic leaders, toxic language, a lot of things. And it reminds me that in some ways, all of us have experienced workplace trauma in some way, shape, or fashion. And I used to practice labor and employment law, which I call like the all my children of the law, because there's always some kind of drama. There's always something happening. Somebody, somebody slept somebody or slept with somebody's husband. Like that's the drama. And while I loved it, I realized there was a lot that I was taking in navigating those spaces, even when I didn't live in them. Like even dipping in and dipping out, I was still carrying a lot of those things. And so my good friend Corey, she does not call them safe spaces. She says that she curates brave spaces. And I really love that because it's being brave to open up to what you just talked about, to kind of get into that same place. But I think that also comes from the trauma of being lawyers and knowing that a lot of places are not safe.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. But that's Brene Brown is Brave Spaces. She wrote the whole, and I love because Brave Spaces and I appreciate that in this conversation in this place here too, because it is like it's safe enough for you to be brave.
Yes.
So the brave is like the next step. It's like if I can make it safe. Intentionally, then you can be brave enough. And then there's how she breaks down the BRAV and the E and everything. And it is just like, this intentionality of a space where people are willing to challenge themselves, challenge assumptions. That's where the innovation, that's where the excellence happens. If we keep doing the same thing over and over, we're Blockbuster. Nobody wants that, right? So we got to say.
Rest in peace, Throwback Thursday. Sorry about that.
Blockbuster, the CEO, who was the Blockbuster CEO of Blockbuster when that happened? Because he or she must be so tired of being the butt of all corporate jokes.
But when you don't listen, when you don't see innovation happening, when you push back, and it's like everybody who's like, "Oh no, we can't. AI is just a fad." I'm like, So as we speed past you.
I've been around long, and I'm long in the tooth enough to know the internet was a fad too. You thought you were going to just get away with not knowing that one, huh?
That part, like we were just talking about this yesterday. I'm like, I know what Netscape is. Half of y'all did not have to use AOL dial-up CDs. We are right. So, and that's quick. That's only in the past 20 something years, maybe 30 years. So yes. All right. Well, what advice do you have for people who would consider themselves struggling, who are outwardly about, like, I have imposter syndrome, and they want to be more grounded in their sense of self? What advice would you give to them, folks who are honest about having that?
I would first tell them to do a strengths assessment. I think that people, again, why I like to lean on the sciences, because you can't really argue with science and math.
Tell that to the, anyway. Okay.
Anyway,
we digress
because we want this podcast to go far.
Correct.
So I would tell them to really take a strength. I like the Clifton character or the Clifton Strengths Assessment and the VIA Character Strengths Assessment.
Yes,
it is a big part of the work that I do in helping people to take a strengths-based approach. When you know what your strengths are and you're solid 10 toes down in them, when your weaknesses come up, you have something to lean on, and it's not an inauthentic thing. It's not a thing that you're telling yourself that you really don't believe about that thing that you don't like. There's an acceptance of that thing or a willingness to work on that thing, but a leaning on this thing that you're solid in.
Right.
Like, no, what I know about myself is this.
Yeah.
What is that for you, Paula?
What do I know about myself?
Yeah. What's one of your strengths, would you say?
My ability to connect with people, my passion for being impactful, my focus on and having people show up as their authentic selves and with good lighting and great clothing. Passionate about and strong about a lot of things, and leadership. Yeah.
So what if there was something that what is an imposter thought that you might have had ever in life?
Oh, thanks for asking. Let me lean back to the couch. That people wouldn't listen to me. That was when I first started out as an entrepreneur. One of those things was like, why me? Why would people listen to me? And that was a big one that I had to kind of get over. And also one that I continue to navigate, which is an interesting piece, is that I'm asking people for things. Right? Because it means for me asking,
because I was entrepreneur, that's what you do, is ask people for
which you're supposed to do, right? But I was also a cheerleader, right? In high school, I was also somebody who didn't ever have to ask. Things would just come at me. And so when I have to ask, it feels very vulnerable because shouldn't you just give me the thing? But I also know it's something I need to work on, right? I need to ask more confidently. So yes.
But what I know about you, what I'm going to guess is true about you.
Yes.
So you've identified that. So that's important, right? So
Yes.
awareness around it. So you've identified it. So you know sometimes when that little voice comes up that says, why are people going to listen to me? Paula T. Edgar is going to use what Paula T. Edgar got to get what Paula T. Edgar wants.
All
so
facts.
then I would say, what's the finish line for you? So imposter thought is getting in the way of something. What do you want? Because that's what's going to motivate you. So use what you got to get what you want. So why am I, or are people going to listen to me, but I'm engaging and I connect with people so then Paula's going to then lean on those strengths of engaging and connecting with people and showing up with the red lips and the red glasses and being funny or engaging, right?
Yeah.
And that is why people want to be around you, because people really want to be around a settled nervous system. They want to be around a person who's comfortable in themselves and where they are.
Yes.
And your people are going to connect with you. Like another thing, psychology and positive psychology tells us 25% of people are going to like you and always like you. 25% are going to like you and stop liking you. 25% are going to not like you, then like you. And 25% never liked you, ain't going to like you, period. Right? And when we can know that that's just what it is, we give ourselves permission to lean on our strengths. Like, yeah, that thing comes up. Okay, accept it. It is what it is. Let me lean on this.
Yeah. I love that you broke down that 25, 25, 25, because it is what prevents a lot of people from showing up and particularly like on social or wanting to have a brand, because they feel like, well, what if people don't like? So I'm always like, what about the ones?
They're not, some people are not going to like you. I definitely have some people who don't like me. And my whole intention is being positive and connecting with people. And I do this work, but I'm human. And there's some people who don't like me. And it's just what it is.
I mean, the people who don't like me, number one, thanks for listening to my podcast. Second of all,
the people who don't like you suck, but that's okay.
I'm like, don't like me, but still add to my numbers. Appreciate you.
Like and subscribe.
It's a very interesting thing, because my therapist says I can't say interesting. It is sometimes to me very shocking that there's a truth that people don't like you, because I think that we all have this ego place where we're like, but we're likable. Like, hello? Who raised you? Who hurt you? What happened? Why don't you like me? You clearly weren't educated.
I have dealt with, that's probably been, wanting to be liked has been at a core of imposter syndrome for me, if I'm identifying what I have to talk back to. And so that fact that I broke down is the fact that it comforted me in learning. So that's how, what we talk about, the science can comfort us.
Yes.
It's like, wait a minute. Oh, there are even people who just like you think are so likable. There's still people who don't. Somebody once told me Beyoncé had fat knees. I said, you know what? If you can find something wrong with Beyoncé, you can find something wrong with me. So,
the haters gonna hate. Please, Lord, give me Beyonce's fat knees. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm glad we diverged because I think that was an important pivot. Now I want to ask you this.
Okay.
What do you do for fun?
Oh my gosh, everything. I do work for fun. Like I love what I do. Look, I'm loving talking to you. I get to show up and be on your podcast for fun.
Yes.
I do whatever sets my heart on fire. I'm curious. I'm curious about most everything. I horseback ride. I ride motorcycles. I jet ski like a bad woman.
Okay.
I travel often. I drink lots of red wine.
Yes.
Also, I'm a Sancerre girl. I like a white.
Yeah. Okay. A little Sancerre.
I love a little shimmy shake with my friends out. I like to take long walks and hike. I make sure that I make sure I know what sets my soul on fire, what gives me like that. That is my why, is because I really want to do what I love for a living. Like I want to create a positive impact. And when I know that I can get through, this goes back to my quote at the beginning, I can get through almost anyhow, but that also takes it's not plunging through without recognizing like what I need. And what I need is to be smiling and enjoying myself. If it's not for the day, then give me the part of the day that I can look forward to that helps me get through that whole day. Cause I know I'm going to, go hang out with my babies and do something fun, or go have some red wine with my girlfriends.
I love that. One of my girlfriends said to me yesterday that she no longer wanted to breadcrumb her joy. And it just, it like hit me like a punch. Like Everybody knows I like to cut a rug, go places, do things. I'd be outside now. But when she said it, it was like, imagine if we all just said our commitment is to finding and sitting in joy as much as we can. And when we're not in it, to remember that whatever time we're having is going to pass and we will find another joy space. The world would just be better. It would just be better. It would just be
Where's
better.
my girlfriend? Let's go for red wine with her.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, although I'm a bourbon girl, but we can figure it out.
I love a bourbon too. Let's do an old fashioned. I'm here for
Done
it.
and done.
Smoky.
Okay. So I ask everybody these two questions, which is one is this: stand by your brand. We're talking about branding. Podcast is about branding, and I find that that's that thing that you can have the same exact resume as somebody else. You can have the same experiences, but it's the you of it all that makes it different. And so my question for you is, what authentic aspect of your personal brand will you never compromise on?
The good feeling. Form follows feeling. And when I feel good,
yes,
the form follows it.
Come on, nuggets.
Nuggets.
Yes.
Really,
I love that.
I'm not like, I was even having a conversation with another, I'm a DOE vendor. I have a mentorship program called Poised to Prosper that's in, it's a life and career exploration and mentorship program for high school girls. And so my program is growing and I'm starting to get into more and more schools. And so I'm talking to another DOE vendor about the schools that we work with. And he was talking about some of the schools that they don't have good leadership and he's not really able to do his thing there. And so I challenged him as a vendor to be picky about who his clients are.
Yeah.
Right? Because,
fire people.
We can fire people too.
Fire people.
We don't have 100%. To just walk around thinking that we're just fireable and this doesn't go two ways. Like if my feeling is that this is not a good place to do this work, or this person is not open or wanting to do this work, or you're just trying to check a box.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't feel good and I can't come in and do good work, and I'm not trying to mess up my brand. So
I love that. I love that. All right. So Branding Room Only is the name of the podcast, which is a play on the term standing room only because I am clever. So what is your magic? What is that thing that would have a room full of people, standing room only, to experience about you?
I don't know. I mean, have we seen us for the last 40 minutes?
Hello.
I think it's a holistic thing for me. I think so. A part of when you asked me about my framework earlier, I thought we were going to talk actually for a moment about, I have a poised framework, and it's poised means personal, occupational, intellectual, social, and emotional development. And it's the way that I take a holistic look at how we are being well. And so when I'm stepping into a space, I'm thinking holistically about that magic. How am I personally doing? How grounded am I? How am I feeling before I get up on the stage? I'm looking at how even physically I'm showing up. I love that you wear red lipstick and red glasses because it's a part of your brand and what it pops about you. Whenever I come into a room where a lot of people are, there's something's going to pop about me. I'm going to be either in really high heels or really bright color or really nice lips or really cute sunglasses or glasses or a really nice statement skirt. There's going to be something about me that goes, ooh, I like that on her. So that I personally showed up, I felt good. I made sure and I was intentional about looking good. And then my stuff, like with Shark Tank, a reason how I got investment with David and Lori is that I knew my business. When you know your stuff, when you know your subject matter, then you can really show up and be in it. No slides that are not available are going to throw me off my game because I know what I'm talking about. So that trilogy of that, like I feel good, I look good, and I know my stuff that's the magic. That's like the confidence. That's that if something came up, if I forgot a line in a speech and I'm doing a speaking engagement and I forgot a section of it, I'm going to lean on another strength. I'm going to lean on I'm going to tell a joke or do something funny or point out my outfit or something like that and take a moment to collect myself. So we have to do these moments with ourselves where we're like, okay, let me collect myself on the spot. And I'm going to lean on one of my strengths. And so I think it's part of the magic.
I love that. And so tell people how they can find out more about you and the work that you do. Where should they go to connect with you?
please find me, people, because I love community. A couple places. So my company is Quartz, like the stone, QUARTZ Wellness Collective, and quartzwellnesscollective.com. My handle on IG is The Flow Coach. And I just published a book. I'm an author, new author of, like I mentioned, Poised to Prosper, that program. It has a workbook. So it is a personal growth and career exploration workbook called Poised to Prosper. You can find it from Googling it online. And then I have an online community called The Well Zone. It's on Mighty Networks. And so it's a space where the kind of intersection of personal and professional development.
That is fantastic. Y'all, go out and tell somebody who needs to, number one, work on their inner voice, their mama, whoever it is talking to them inside, and to think about how they show up, how they show out, and how they are memorable at all times, like Amber does. And tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, we out here. Everybody, tell a friend to listen to this. I think it'll change some lives, and we need some lives to be changed and for them to find that joy in the glass of wine. See you next time in the branding room. Bye, y'all. Bye. That's it for this episode. Appreciate you hanging out with me on Branding Room Only. Now, please do me a quick favor. Head over to ratethispodcast.com/branding so more people can join this conversation. And make sure to stop by paulaedgar.com/events to see what's next. Whether I'm live, online, or in person, I'd love to see you there. See you next time in the branding room. And until then, stand tall, shine bright, and always stand by your brand.